There were 3 different attempts in the Senate on Thursday to make amendments to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act before it was renewed. All 3 of those were shot down, but a final vote on the bill is being delayed until Friday, actually, so a little bit later on today.
I think it happened.
Oh, it did already happen, actually?
And you'll be shocked to know that it was renewed.
Oh, really? FISA renewed, and without any of the amendments that protect our rights.
None of the amendments, but it was removed with a promise from Dianne Feinstein to keep better score.
Yeah, she said it was very important that we do something for oversight, but not important enough to actually do anything for oversight. Someday.
Now, Feinstein's actually been surprisingly decent on some of the indefinite detention provisions in the National Defense Authorization Act. Surprising, okay, because she's usually pretty damn conservative. On this, she's been as hideous as she normally is.
Yeah.
And the guys who are actually heroes on this are Ron Wyden, who's been saying all along, and Senator Udall too. I'm sorry, Senator Merkley. And Udall's been involved in some of the other fights as well. But Merkley and Wyden on this, they're saying, look, we've seen what they do. It is really wrong. We can't share it with you because it's top secret. But you should stop doing that, okay? We've seen the secret intelligence reports. Americans, they say literally, would be shocked to find out what their government is doing.
We've got some quotes from them if you want to read those. So Ryan Wyden said, it is never okay for government officials to use a general warrant to deliberately invade the privacy of a law-abiding American. It wasn't okay for constables and customs officials to do it in colonial days, and it's not okay for the National Security Agency to do it today. And also relating to what you were saying about the fact that this information is secret. Like, we don't even know, for the most part, how bad it is unless you're a senator and you've been exposed to some of it. Jeff Merkley says, if you have a phrase in the law and it's been interpreted by a secret court and the interpretation is secret, then you really don't know what the law means. But in response to people's attempts to have at least some of the information, even just summaries, be declassified, Saxby Chambliss says that even redacted versions would give our enemies a roadmap into our collection priorities and capabilities. So these strong, freedom-loving people who hate government encroachment, no, we can't know anything about it. It'll help our enemies.
Yeah, and look, Wyden has done everything he can to try to draw attention to this. And that's why in the earlier quote, he's like, this is why we did the revolution. Yeah. Okay, what the NSA is doing now is what the British Empire used to do to us and why we started a war against them, okay? How much clearer do I have to be? You got to get this under control.
And Wyden has also said that when you could set up where you guys release summaries of the cases, and he's like, you can redact anything you want, everything, redact away.
Not even that.
Just let us, and they're like, no, can't, help the enemies.
If they know what font we use, it'll give our enemies information.
Yeah, and look, if they know how we redact, man, that is going to, then, you know, there's Al-Qaeda terrorists right now waiting. Redaction specialists. They're like, oh,
how thick is the marker?
I cannot wait for the redacting of the FISA to be released on how they, by the way, spied in on innocent Americans that had nothing to do with Al-Qaeda, and how would that affect Al-Qaeda?
Dianne Feinstein's argument for not embracing even the most tepid of Wyden's amendments, which would be good, which would obviously be helpful, it just wants some oversight, that somebody's got to look at these guys. That's it. That's what he's asking for. But Feinstein, of course, is afraid, according to her, of the House Republicans. He's like, they won't do it, so let's not do it because they'll all lapse. I mean, it's just the power of being completely unreasonable has made other people completely unreasonable.
Well, so first of all, that's totally true. But second of all, I don't believe her. I think she agrees with the policy and uses the House Republicans as an example. But what I mean by it's totally true is that she's right, though. The House Republicans would undoubtedly block.
No, I think, look, if the Democrats run the House, I suspect they would pass the most, again, they wouldn't be enough, but they'd be incredibly tepid.
Well, they did run the House and the Senate for a while, and they didn't get, you know, FISA, amended or anything along those lines. Now, and again, President Obama, of course, was against telecom immunity on the issue of FISA. I mean, what are we going to give immunity to AT&T and Verizon for violating our, rights, et cetera? And he was like, no, I will filibuster that if they try that. Later, he voted for it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, by the way, before it was in the primaries against Hillary Clinton when he's like, I will filibuster it. And the second vote was during the general election. What, me? Filibuster? I'm voting in favor of it. I don't know what you're talking about. Because that's classic Obama. But I want to give credit to one other person here who I don't like in other instances and completely disagree with. But on issues like this, he's been really great. Rand Paul. So he's actually been very principled. And my favorite part of all these 3 different amendments that were proposed to that bill was Rand Paul's amendment, where he said simply that we should not violate Americans' Fourth Amendment rights to unlawful searches and seizures. That lost, I believe, 78 to 19.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that lost worse than the other two amendments. Some Democrats who had voted with the other amendments were like, well, I don't know. I mean, we had to listen to the Fourth Amendment. I mean, that's in the Constitution. We got to follow the Constitution. Now I'm voting yes, Rand Paul. So
vestigial organ, the Fourth Amendment, I think.
Yeah, so Rand Paul doing a great job on that with Wyden and Merkley, but unfortunately they're outnumbered by these guys who are beholden to the national security apparatus.